the stock market, meaning companies, new highs.
I'm not fucking leaving.
The show goes on.
They're nuts. They know nothing.
An online network called Internet.
Well, it's very hip to be on the internet right now.
Welcome, my degenerates. The rest of your life starts right now on Market Mania. The no bullshit approach to all financial markets, from Bitcoin and darknets to political betting, and of course, the largest casino in the world, the U.S. stock market. I'm your host, Brian Micon, financial genius, Bitcoin class of 2011, and a poker player. Joining me are my fellow degens, Matt Glantz and Brett Ritchie. Glantz traded options on the Philly Exchange back in the day, and Brett is the head of Blitzpick. The whole thing is put together by Tony the producer, and this is Market Mania. Tony, let's get right into it. Hell of a day in the markets today. Glantz, how's the fund doing? How's the markets doing?
Well, I mean, I looked like 15 minutes ago we were down 3%, but all of a sudden now we're up almost 1%. So I think the market's really ripping here. I don't know what happened. Maybe Pelosi is speaking right now or something. That's probably most likely candidate. Fred, you hear anything over there?
I'm not sure either. I think, stimulus stuff, debate stuff, election, people. Yeah, I honestly have no idea. So
we're in
I'm
a
not even
holding
gonna guess.
pattern. We're in a holding pattern till stimulus, till election, till something rocks it. I mean, I don't know. It seems like we're undulating downward for the last week or so. I don't know. But I'll tell you who's not undulating downward is Empire Maker 2, old friend from the gambling world of ours. The $1 million plus 130 plus 120 bet is on. This is a DFS bet, and Empire Maker 2, one of the winningest DFS players, challenged other DFS winning bosses. These are guys that shove in 50, 150, usually 6 digits every weekend on DFS, and really even sometimes that amount daily.
7.
And yeah, it's 7 figures. It's crazy. These guys are betting hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars on daily fantasy sports, DraftKings, FanDuel. A lot of you guys have seen it. And this guy, he's super sharp and very boastful and doesn't take shit from anyone. And he just started throwing out challenges, says that if he wins this challenge, he is going to get a $500,000 car with the license plate TY Nerds. Brett Ritchie, I know you're following the DFS space closely, and I know this one could have possibly missed your feed. Give us
Definitely
the details.
Not,
fill in the blanks there.
Blake is Empire Maker. He is an entertaining follow. As you said, he's not afraid to talk shit, and he basically is calling everyone out in the DFS world, and he's laying odds to get action. Kind of similar to what we saw with the Durr Challenge way back in the day, or Phil Galfond more recently in poker. Somebody near the pinnacle of the game wants more action, and they're willing to lay some odds to get it. I think it's pretty interesting. He's got over $1 million bet, and this bet is against another very good player. It's Osimo, who I believe is the highest volume tournament player. The rankings are based on volume. He's the number 1 ranked tournament player. Blake is the highest cash player, I believe. And yeah, he's firing $1 million against a ton of people, laying 130 over a sample size of 10 events. So it's going to be interesting to follow.
Well, that is insane. Matt Glantz betting 6 digits, 7 digits on other people playing sports. What do you think?
I mean, I don't know the first thing about DFS, and I don't believe I ever met Empire Maker, although we have communicated on Twitter. He's very funny on Twitter, very boastful, as Brett says. And I really like this whole thing about him challenging the so-called nerds of poker, the high stakes, the high roller guys, to this challenge. And he's going to try to take their money and then rub in their faces. And I know for a fact behind the scenes, they're in group chats talking shit about him, the high stakes guys. So it's like a whole thing. I think it's kind of fun to watch from afar.
It's really entertaining, and he's actually got a lot more bets. He's betting A.E. Jones, some other guy, $100K a week on NFL. He's betting Rufus Peabody on golf. He's got a lot of action. If you think you can take him on in DFS, go look him up. But I'll say this, Micon, he has come a long way from his NWP punching bag status, which was a forum Micon ran about 15 years ago.
Hopefully, Empire Maker can get a mole from the high roller guys group chats, so eventually you can get that and really rub it in and make fun, see what they're saying.
Well, that brings me back, but we are gonna have to move on. It's gonna be interesting to watch this over the next couple weeks. I mean, Twitter will be lit up for this. This will light up the tweeter, no doubt. All right, Wall Street Bets picked out The Big Short, possibly. And, we just call it The Big Short. This is interesting, and Glance is going to have to fill us in here. This is a $78 million bearish bet, all premium. Glance, what is this? Explain to the people what this bet means.
I mean, this guy is just betting either on a market crash or volatility explosion because he's paying obscene market vol for SPYs. SPY vol is already very high historically. And to go for the 315 strike, way out of the money. I mean, the market's got to do so much damage for him to be profitable in that trade. It's either just protection or he really knows something about the market and thinks, he has an edge and he thinks the market's going to drop 40% in the near term. And
Brett Ritchie, I mean, this is higher stakes than Empire Maker here. I mean, what do you make of this one? What do you think about this bet?
This guy is probably a fan of the show because if you remember, I touted a SPY big short or just a regular short a few episodes ago. My guess is this guy saw that episode and then he just unloaded the clip based on my prediction.
So we'll be watching this one, and anybody that really knows how to play stock market, you can look at the April 21 315 puts and you could see the open interest right now if you know how to do that. And you could see there's just 60,000 contracts out there. So you can see if the guy covers it or if it's a fund or if it's a female. And then you could see when it gets covered or if the guy, lets it run until April of next year. And then that could, easily expire worthless. These are the type of, go ahead, Glance.
Just so you know, when you buy options like this, I mean, he's buying a ton of them, but even if you bought a 10 lot or something, for a couple $1,000s, the only way you can win on this is if the market really crashes. Like if the market goes up and down 10% over the next, 2 or 3 months before the end of the year, these puts are going to be like half the price they are now. So like the market's basically got to drop like over 20% in the next 2 months for those puts to be profitable.
How much would you make on like a 30 or 40% drop? What's the upside here?
So if you just look at the actual option, what's the word I'm looking for here, Glance? He paid $15 in premium for a 315. So anything below 300, SPY 300, he starts to make.
Can you scroll that screen back up top, Tony, so we can see? So he paid. It doesn't say how much he paid, but I just
took a look. It was about
right?
about $15 each.
Okay,
I just
paid $15. So like, where's the SPY right now? SPY right today is, let me look it up. It is 343. So that thing's got to drop 10% just to be at the money. But the thing is, when the market drops that much with speed, the implied volatility will go up a ton. So he will make money on any kind of big market dip because the vol will explode. He'll make money not only on the deltas on the market going down, but the vol going up at the same time. But it's really hard to win on those trades. I mean, you just have to be so much in tune with the right side because if the market just dillies around or goes up, he's going to get annihilated.
So speaking of getting annihilated, I never watched anything on this platform. Quibi, I heard about it in the news. I think they took like $1 billion, and I think Meg Whitman was the one that was at the helm here. And this is bananas. Brett, the Quibi is gone. Short videos, and so to me it was a horrible idea from the start. But they raised $1.75 billion, and they're returning $350 million to investors. So they rifled through over $1 billion in a really short period of time with nothing to show for it. It's Jeffrey Katzenberg and Meg Whitman. Katzenberg, big, I think, DreamWorks guy. Been around forever, but they basically wanted to create like a paid YouTube with celebrities. It's all about short videos, up to 8-minute videos, but with celebrities and a subscription service. And it launched right when the pandemic hit, and people just weren't having it. The users rejected it pretty soundly.
It was a scam, just so you know, by Katzenberg. Not so much the scams that we're used to, but let me explain to you how this worked. Okay, they raised a whole bunch of money from a bunch of entertainment companies, but for that investment, they were guaranteed contracts to basically this company is going to pay them back, sort of like as like media deals, right? To show their content. And then they got all these other investors like banks and hedge funds and stuff to invest who didn't get that deal.
Yeah.
So the only reason they invested is because they had all these partners, these entertainment company partners, Disney and all these ones. But anybody who got in after that didn't get wasn't an entertainment company, that was just an investor, really lost a ton of money on this. It's pretty much
Disney's like, I'll invest $100 million and you're going to fire $200 million back at us for our content. Or
the whole idea
like
was
that.
If you get all these big entertainment company names to invest, then other people invest behind. But the fact is they were only investing with a guarantee to get their money back through entertainment contracts or product placement, that kind of stuff.
Why did anybody think this was going to work?
I have no idea. Neither Katzenberg or Meg Whitman.
Well, I'm sure they wanted it to work. If it worked, all their equity would be crushing. And, it's like a sort of like a TikTok kind of thing in a way. So they, there was always a shot, but the pandemic really hurt them because the whole idea behind it was they were trying to get people that were in transit to watch these short videos. So like on the train, on the bus, and the pandemic killed that. So
yeah, but pandemic, everyone's home looking for new content, right? If you launch a streaming service during the pandemic and you blame the pandemic, I just think you missed the mark entirely the whole time.
True that.
Yeah, why do you have to watch it on the train? You can't watch it on the shitter or
people, it's like a paid YouTube. YouTube's already free. People are not. It was a bad idea, and they were paying celebrities multi-million-dollar deals for some like B-level Chrissy Teigen doing some show. Like, I'm out. No,
I don't get it at all. I never understood it. I never watched it. I mean, I guess no one ever did, but it's interesting. The ethical wind down there, returning $350 million. Like, hey, we didn't burn through it. Take it back. We're not going to. We think it's wrong. So, we don't think it's viable anymore. So, okay, we'll just shut it down. Everybody here's rich. We'll just go do something else or just eat good food. I don't know. It just seems interesting that shutdown where they're not out of money. Like they could have pivoted and tried other shit.
Pelosi holding the market hostage. Well, she might have just put something out because the market's flying. If you see in that top right corner of the screen, the Dow Jones just ripped over 100 points since we started the show 10 minutes ago. And it was already ripping before we started the shows in the last 5 minutes before that. So, I mean, I see like the funds P&L is skyrocketing right now. So there's a lot of stocks going the right direction. She's been holding the market hostage for like 3 or 4 weeks now. Every day it's either I'm talking to Minucci today, everything's going well, or not, or we're too far apart. And then the next day, I think we're gonna get it done. And then she comes back a couple hours later, puts out a statement that, maybe we'll talk tomorrow. We're getting closer. So, and I believe she's just trying to hold it off long enough so nobody gets those checks signed by Trump before the election, which would make sense politically. But it's kind of evil by both sides with what's going on. People need that money to buy food and rent. So it's crazy. Pelosi's basically holding the market hostage right now. So let's see if she gets something done, hopefully by tomorrow.
Brett Ritchie, Nancy Pelosi.
Not a fan of Pelosi. And honestly, I'm going to both sides it here. McConnell, I'm not a fan of that either. Both of them are shutting down deals. McConnell,
Wait, you're not a fan of Cocaine Mitch?
I generally like Cocaine Mitch a little bit. It's a great nickname for a politician. But if you're not on board with getting, people need to put their political differences aside and get the stimulus passed. So if you're not on board with that, in my opinion, you're just an asshole that is using this situation for political leverage, which to me, when it's actual people's lives and livelihoods and businesses at stake, that's taking it too far. So generally, I don't mind people playing political games because I think it's all kind of a joke anyway. But this is actually one of those times I'm against it. So fuck them both.
Look at that. Brett Ritchie, a man of the people.
I mean,
that's impressive.
Giving away money, these evil vampires of whatever red or blue persuasion, just toying with each other on the political stage for extreme higher stakes than the guy with firing the 78 million. It's enough to make a guy sick. All right. It's enough to make you sick here. So I get that off the screen. I can't talk about Pelosi or Trump or anything. I can't do it right now. We're going to have to do it for the next 2 weeks. We're going to have to do this for the next 2 weeks. And then finally we'll get some small reprieve. on Market Mania. All right. I don't know what any of these words mean. LIBOR to SOFR. Don't have a clue. Someone's going to have to school me.
That's the
Tony
for the
right.
Tony cam.
Tony, the producer. School me on this because nothing.
Let's take a look at the arcane plumbing of the world's global financial system and some of the major things that are happening. And the reason you know that this is a big deal is because they don't want anybody really talking about it. So major paradigm shifts like the one I'm about to show you happen completely almost under the radar. You don't know what it is. No one's talking about it. So let me explain just a little bit of it to you. Part of the financial system is that all of our interest rates, all of our mortgages around the globe, all of these assets that require an interest rate peg have been pegging those interest rates to a rate called the LIBOR, L-I-B-O-R, London Interbank Optional Rate or something like that. Look it up. Anyway, it's like a few $1 million in trades set the rate for over $2 quadrillion in global derivatives, mortgages, everything. So this is like a pyramid balanced on its tip. And this LIBOR rate is completely manipulated. Of course, it's completely fake. Banks just make it up. And in order to give some more credence to the rate upon which quadrillions of dollars of derivatives and assets are set, the federal, and to try and make themselves look good, the Federal Reserve is switching from the LIBOR rate to a rate that they control called SOFR. Well, let me just show you the most important chart in modern American history. This is the chart of the overnight lending rates called the repo market. Now, this is the SOFR rate. And you might notice this huge spike here right at the end of September. Well, what's significant about that is right when that spike happened, that's the rate at which banks lend to each other. If that rate gets out of control, the entire system collapses. And that's what happened right at the end of September of last year. The entire system had a complete heart attack, and this would have killed it but for the Fed agreeing to inject up to $1 trillion a day into the market to smooth this rate out and then drop interest rates to the absolute bottom. I know I'm going on here a little bit. Stay with me. The reason this is important. The reason this is important.
I was thinking the same thing, Tone.
The reason this is important is because we went from LIBOR to this heart attack SOFR, trying to balance $2 quadrillion worth of derivatives on it. And if you don't think that in the coming weeks that this isn't going to have some massive effects on interest rates, assets, stock markets, everything, you're crazy. And I will leave you with this. If you guys want to learn more about this, I highly recommend you go to this guy's channel, George Gammon. Just look for him on YouTube, and he will describe in great detail, for anyone that can understand it, this entire thing. So I want to ask you guys' opinion. I know I went on long there, but I just want everybody to go research LIBOR switching to SOFR. This is very important. It's very
I hope we're
boring.
getting a couple grand from George Gammon. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, well, George is a good guy. I mean, he's great. Go check him out. Anyway, thanks for letting me bomb you with some arcane shit.
No problem, Tony.
If
If you put together a show this beautiful, we'll let you get 3-4 minutes to rant on whatever the hell you want. Every episode if you want. I don't even care. I mean, this thing's beautiful. Everybody says it's wonderful. We got tickers. I can see Bitcoin's flying past 1350 or so right there. And you can rant about the rates. And, you know, I'm not going to look it up. I'm not going to lie to you, but I do hope other people do. And then explain it to me.
Look it up,
man. I want to know this information, but I'm too lazy to seek it out.
You think Wall Street Bets found The Big Short? This is the one. Have a good show, guys.
All right. Maybe that's the guy. Maybe it's all LIBOR rate based, you know, $78 million bets.
To make it simple, you guys can think of LIBOR and all that as the Fed rate. You know, when you hear Fed rate in the US, that's like the London interbank rate or something like that.
Tonight's debate, moving on from something high, lofty economics to something mind-numbing and screaming. You're going to have two of your favorite vampires that you can't escape on stage again. Now, this time they're not going to be screaming over each other. Brett Ritchie, what happened to the microphones here?
Yeah, they're gonna have the mics be able to be cut off so candidates can have 2 minutes of interrupted time, which I think plays into Trump's hands. He was kind of his own worst enemy in the first debate. And as we've seen throughout this whole election cycle, if you give Biden time to talk, he's going to fuck up. Like, poor kids are just as bright and talented as white kids. Like, he said a lot of ridiculous things. Trump needs to just let this guy talk. I think this is good for Trump for the debate. As Matt's probably going to say, it's probably too late. It might be too late for Trump, depending on your outlook on the polls. But I think at least the debate shapes up pretty well for Trump. Matt, what do you think?
I've been saying this since the summer. There's nothing in the world that's going to change anybody's mind, change anybody's vote about any candidate. Everyone knows for months now who they're voting for. No one's changing. But I am going to tune into the debate tonight for one reason, because when Trump gets muted, I think he's going to make some funny faces. So I'm going to enjoy watching him as he's muted. With the video and no audio, I think it's really going to frustrate him, and he might make it a sort of an entertaining process.
I'm watching too.
I couldn't pull my eyes away from, as much as I hated, I couldn't stop watching the first debate. It was it was very entertaining. Right. And then the VP debate literally put me to sleep. I was actually sleeping. I didn't even see the fly.
So the other thing is, Trump's kind of like a rat in the corner right now. He's losing the election. He's down a lot, and he has to prove something tonight. So knowing that, and the energy he has, and knowing what's at stake, he's going to go off at some point. He's going to make a run for it. So it'll be interesting to see what he does tonight.
I don't think Trump thinks he's losing. I will say that.
I
don't think you think Trump's losing.
I think he might be right.
I have absolutely no idea where the
safety glasses.
Well, I know where I have the safety glasses right here, but I don't know where the not investment advice hat went to. I believe I threw it off yesterday and did not go looking for it since then. One quick check. Found it right under the chair. Gotta love it. Running great today. And, you guys know what time it is then, because the not investment advice hat is on. You have to do your own research. It is the Market Mania pick of the day. Drop it like it's hot, Brett Ritchie.
Drop it like it's hot. Everybody stack them, stack them to the top.
Matt Glantz, you start us off. We don't waste time.
Overstock, OSTK, $69 a share. It was $130 back in like August. It's now down almost 50%. They have a crypto exchange. They're just getting live. And then once that thing picks up between their online shopping business and this crypto exchange, I think this thing's going to fly.
T0, they've been touting it for a long time. Never heard of anybody using it, but good luck over there. It might become Coinbase, I guess. I don't know. And, Brett Ritchie, I love that guy. I love that Patrick guy that just went on the CNBC last year. He said he was a Russian agent. Deep state. He was banging a Russian agent or some shit. It was amazing. It was just a great rant on CNBC. And then he's like, and I'm out. And I'm done with CEO. I'm out. I'm going to go run off into the sunset.
Wait, before Brett goes, can we get a pick from Tony?
Oh, geez. If I had to pick one, I would say buy Ethereum. Get yourself 32 Ethereum. Be in the 32 Ethereum camp, and you'll be happy.
I'm just noticing now, Tony. My name underneath me right here is Brett Ritchie.
I forgot to switch those Tony. On this one. That's from yesterday's show.
I'm just noticing right now. By the end of the show, we'll get those corrected next time.
Enjoy being Brett Ritchie.
All right, no 3-minute rant for you next time.
You got it.
So my pick should be silver then, if I'm Tony, but I already have my other pick, so it's not going to be silver. Although I like silver. I like Trump as a short-term trade. Trump plus 180, going into just straight up the debate. Buy it today, sell it tomorrow. I think the debate sets up well for Trump. I think that the market, I mean, who knows? But I think that he could get a little bounce after the
polls
debate.
Polls don't matter. Yes.
Just a debate bounce.
And of course, my name's correct. Can't get that one wrong. Host of the show. I am going. What am I going today? I'm going to go short. I can't take it anymore sometimes. What is this? What is my pick of the day? I don't even remember because it was one of the ones I'd like to show. Oh, yeah. mRNA. Moderna. They're supposed to complete the old trials or whatnots, the stage 3 whatnots for the coronavirus vaccine next month. And I mean, I looked up this a little bit. Insider selling all throughout when the price pumped up big earlier this year. I don't know. I mean, sure, they got a chance to hit it, but it's probably going to be like most of these biotechs were like, oh, I'm sorry, it actually didn't work. And then, stock price then goes back down to reality. So I'm short Moderna. right now. And really, it's a 1 month, 2 month time horizon, not investment advice. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that is yet another episode of Market Mania. And we do hope you tell a friend. We hope you click likes and subscribes and we want to pump this show up, and we need that. These degens, we need that kind of positive reinforcement. We're basically just children, just like, everybody else. Half a narcissist, got to see the numbers go up. And I know as we go into the debates tonight, you'll
Hold
watch
on,
Vampire
mic on.
Screen.
We got to make sure they hit that subscribe button on the bottom right of the screen. It's a new button we put in.
That bottom right button. It's right down there. Okay, that's where I need you to hit the subscribe button. And then that'll work. And then we'll be happier. And we'll keep doing it for you then, too. All the time. Every day. And despite all the shenanigans happening in the world, I think we can all, take a little bit of calm and solace in the words of Meek Mill on the What's Free track with Jay-Z. Great song. Fed investigations. Heard they plotting like I trap. 20 mil in cash. They know I got that off of rap. Maybe it's the Michael Rubins or the Robert Crafts or the billionaire from Marcy and the way they got my back. Do hit that like and subscribe in the bottom right, and we'll see you tomorrow, if there is a tomorrow. But for now, it's lights out.
I never sleep if I don't have my medicine. I never sleep if I don't have my medicine. I never sleep if I don't have. I never sleep. I never sleep if I don't have my medicine. Time to right the wrong. So your hands in the air if you like the song. If you're going over there, take it twice as long. Last time ain't talking about Tylenol. Oh, I bet you'd like to know. You can come around the way if you're trying to go. If you want to switch lanes for a pot of gold, number domino, out of control. The usual, get mad cause I'm looking at your girl. Switch it up. I do it so much louder than everything you've heard. Everybody heard, got the word that the world wasn't turning. Act like you're in a jury, power of attorney, wow, we're turning. Can't I lie like Mississippi burning. Don't act like you're in a daze. I imagine should've looked the other way. Couldn't clear space in my mind, was afraid of the time. Strobe lights like in the moonlight. I'm in the mood right now, how about tonight?